This is the Demystifying Mental Toughness Podcast, hosted by David Charlton, and you're listening to this podcast to help you build your own mental toughness, or so that you can support other people or your clients better. Either way, you will learn more about developing this plastic personality trait that all but guarantees that you will perform better and lead a more prosperous life. Hi there, I hope you're well. This is episode 255 of the Demystifying Mental Toughness Podcast. And as I record this, I've just come out of my ice bath and a balmy 5 degrees. For those of you who watch on YouTube, you'll notice as I just pull my shirt down a little bit, a bit of redness. This is what happens when you get out of the ice bath. Pretty much my entire body is really, really red. You can feel the blood pumping around, lots of tingles in the body. Yeah, it's an interesting experience, to say the least. Now, would I have ever thought about talking about me going in an ice bath when I was in my 20s or when I was in my teens? Absolutely not. I'd be worried about what people thought. I'd be worried about the fear of rejection. Would my friends want to be my friends if I did something different like that? That would have been on my mind. My mind would have been in overdrive. And this is the topic that I'm going to unpick, and I'm going to go on to share 3 tips in relation to it. That's right, the fear of rejection, which is very, very relevant in a sporting capacity, as it is in life. So we think about sport, the fear of being rejected by new teammates, the fear of being rejected by a coach, the fear of being rejected in that respect in case you're dropped or you're asked to play a different position. The fear of being released at the end of a season whilst you're in an academy setting. The fear of rejection is very, very relevant. It's everywhere. And it's very relevant if you're highly motivated. You're really driven, you're really determined, you take things seriously, you want to do well. And when we have that fear of rejection, well, it can play games with our mind, to say the least. We question ourselves. We question our identity. We question our motivation for the sport. We question our capabilities. We can get into judgment mode very, very easily. That's right, where we judge ourselves against our rivals, against our teammates. We judge ourselves where we worry about what other people think, about coaches, about parents, about spectators. We critique. We analyze our performances to the nth degree. We can fall in the trap of paralysis by analysis, if you like, when we have this fear of rejection. So as I mentioned, I'm going to share 3 tips to help people who do have this fear of rejection. Number 1 is try and see it as part of the game, part of sport, part of life. There's not many people out there who haven't been rejected at some point. Obviously, though, if you're a child, and maybe your path has been pretty straightforward. It's been an upward curve with very little disappointments. Maybe you haven't had rejection and it can be difficult to deal with. As an adult, it can be very different though. You might have been rejected in relationships when you've gone to the bar to try and chat up someone, or it could well be in a sporting capacity. Now, the second thing to me would link to self-compassion, to empathy, to kindness to ourselves. So if we've got this fear of rejection, what it can do, it can manifest itself physically in our body in different places, and it's going to be very different for everybody. But what it does is it messes with our rhythm, our timing, our fine motor skills. So what kindness does is it can get the mind and the body working more in sync, in harmony. It allows us to relax our muscles, smaller muscle groups, as well as our brain. And it's a much nicer place to be as well. So we're not just torturing ourselves and having many, many battles in our brain and our mind. My last tip with the fear of rejection is just remember, rejection does not define you. Whether you get dropped from a squad, you get kicked out of a club or an academy, there's more to you than just the athlete. It's very easy as a sports person, as an athlete, as a coach, or in any walk of life, to let our identity be wrapped around our performance. But you've got a lot more to bring to the table. Just think about the roles in your life, whether you're a brother, a sister, a parent, a mum, a dad. You might play other sports or be involved in other activities where you've got a role to play. You also bring lots of qualities. You might be funny. You might be very humorous, as I say. You might be a kind person. You might be caring. You might be committed to your craft and really, really determined and motivated. You might have a poker face and be very, very focused. So you've got lots of traits, character traits, and then you'll have lots of skills as well, which you bring to the party in your chosen sport and in other realms of life. So try and remember that you're not just defined by this particular rejection or by a fear of rejection. Try to keep that bigger picture in mind. So yeah, to sum up, those 3 tips were: try and view rejection as part of the game. Try to help yourself by being self-compassionate and kind to yourself. And then finally, recognize that you've got many skills and attributes that can help you in your sport. This rejection does not define you as a person. I sincerely hope that you found these tips and this episode useful. Fear of rejection is such a huge topic. A short, 6-7 minute episode doesn't really do it justice. I could have gone on for an awful lot longer. As I say, I hope you found it useful. Have a fantastic day ahead. If you enjoyed this episode of the Demystifying Mental Toughness Podcast with David Charlton, do check out my website, sport-excellence.co.uk, and my online sport psychology resources. The Sport Excellence website has essential resources for anyone looking to build their own mental toughness or the mental toughness of their athletes or teams, or if you want to achieve peak performance more often or optimal functioning. The Sport Excellence website has everything you need to keep moving forward and thrive. So go on, head over to sport-excellence.co.uk to find out more.